How you
92,
been?
former IPF world champion, Raul Marquez. Thank you so much for coming on.
Happy to be on, man. I'm excited about this one.
Did you see this upset coming with Matias and Smith? Were you
To be
shocked?
honest, to be honest with you, no, I didn't. No, I didn't think it was gonna. I didn't think it was gonna be an upset. Honestly, I thought it was a huge upset. It just wasn't an upset. I thought it was a huge upset. And as you see, the British fans are attacking me, man. They're in love. They're in love with their fighters, with Dalton Smith. I mean, I think they were seeing the fight with their feelings and with their emotions. Man, look, I'm not a fanboy, man. I'm an analyst, and I feel that I call fights. What I see, I'm gonna call it. They say I was favoring Matias. I have nothing to do with Matias. I mean, he's Puerto Rican. I'm Mexican. Even if he was Mexican, it doesn't matter. I always try to make the right call, but things happen so fast, bro. Like things happen so fast when I was calling the fight, and I know at the end when the knockout did happen, Matias had just had a good little run. He was throwing some combinations in the inside. He threw a solid jab, and I said, "Oh, look, Smith is running to the jab," and then all of a sudden, he loaded up with the right hand. Like it was like three or four consecutive right hands, and bam, it was just so quick that all they want to hear is they don't hear when I'm giving Smith credit too. Like I give him credit from the beginning, like from the first round, the way he was boxing him and he was landing big overhand rights. He won the first round.
Yeah,
I thought he won the second round.
I agree.
Um, Even Eddie Hearn said it. Eddie Hearn was worried. I don't know if they need to go watch his own promoter's interview. Eddie Hearn said that he was worried the whole fight. Every round he was worried because he said, yeah, he boxed beautiful the first round. Second round, it was back and forth, but he still think he did good. But by the third round, he was already fighting Matias's fight, and that was not, I guarantee you, no, I know so. That was not the plan. That was not Dalton Smith's plan to go toe to toe with him. But being that I've done Matias's fights in the past, I've done like three or four of them. He's the kind of guy that, man, his pressure is crazy. Like, I mean, it's not like just like constant pressure. It's like relentless. Like you take two steps, he takes three steps. And even like you see in the beginning, he doesn't throw a lot of punches. He gives up rounds.
Yeah,
Um, his pressure is like crazy, and not only that, it's like scary, frightening pressure. Like that just breaks you down. And you know, I had it like 2-2 at the end of the. When the knockout happened, I had it like 2-2. I think that. I mean, I want to say like most of the round, the fifth round, I feel like Matias was winning. And then Dalton landed the big bombs. Hey, that's boxing. That's the way it goes. And in my defense, Uh, one judge had Matias winning 3-1. Okay, and the other two judges had Smith winning 3-1. So obviously there was rounds that Matias won. This British fans are saying, "Oh, he was winning every round." I mean, come on, bro. It wasn't like that. And not only British fans. There's a couple of you know ex-fighter commentators. I heard them on yeah, they know who they're talking about. They love me. They say they love me. I love them too, you know?
yeah,
But I was there live. I know what I saw. I know what I saw. Okay. Um, Everybody can have their opinion. That's fine. And I'm not favoring anybody. I'm not gonna go back and forth that I was, all these people saying I was being biased. I mean, shit, I wasn't being biased. That's what I saw, and I yes, I seen Matias fight more, and I know the kind of the kind of fight that he fights. Um, in my opinion, this is what happened. Like I'm telling you, Smith, that was not his plan to go toe to toe by the third round. His plan was to box.
yeah.
He said it. He said it. Be technical and box. That was his plan. But by the third round, he had no choice. It again. Eddie Hearn said it. He had no choice but to go toe to toe, and he probably said, "You know what, man? This guy, this kind of pace. I don't think if this goes into the second half of the fight, I don't think I can keep up with this pace because even Eddie Hearn said that his fighter, no, not Eddie Hearn. He didn't say that. I was just listening to the interview,
Yeah.
and you cannot argue this. I mean, this is a fighter, a Hall of Fame fighter, El Terrible Morales, saying that uh, he was getting tired, because he's not used to fighting that kind of fight. And I feel that I agree with that too. Look, he was still in the fight. I mean, I'm not saying he was losing. It wasn't even fight back and forth, but I felt like he was getting tired and he was like, you know what? I can't fight this pace. Like, what's gonna happen in the second half of the fight? So he said, you know what? I'm just gonna go for broke and stand and go toe to toe with him. And he landed those right hands. I mean, good for him. That's boxing. Things happen so quick, man. How many times have you seen? I mean, you even seen fights where a guy's winning 4 rounds, and then all of a sudden the fifth round, the guy that's winning gets caught, and the fight is over. That's just boxing. That's the way it goes.
Well, you mentioned the right hand. The right hand couldn't miss. Smith kept landing the right hand.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, Matias has no defense. He definitely got to that's Matias' style. Like I said, I've seen his fights in the past, and he takes those shots. He got overconfident, like I mean, if you saw in some of the earlier rounds when Smith hit him with the right hand, he was like, come on, give me some more. Like,
Yeah,
give me some more. And yeah, Smith gave him more, and he could that last one. Actually, the one before the last one that was over the top, like in between his ear and the back of the head, his
yeah,
head. The one before that rattled him.
yeah,
That one got him, and then the last one that put him, that really hurt him. He got back up. He was trying to, and people say, oh, some people say that they should have let him go. He's a champion, possibly. It depends. If it would have been the late Steve Smoger, remember Steve Smoger, who
yeah,
yeah, he probably would have let it go.
yeah,
Uh, and maybe he would have really gotten hurt because I'd give it to Dalton Smith, man. He's got a big heart, you know. He's strong.
yeah.
He was hungry to win a world title. He's got power. He definitely's got power. So I, I think if they would have let Matias go, he probably really would have gotten hurt because he would have Smith would have landed another haymaker like that, and it would have been ugly, man. It would have been ugly.
Well, prior to this fight, everyone was talking about Matias' pressure, about Matias' power.
Right.
Let's not forget, Smith has a 70% KO ratio, right?
Yeah.
He definitely has some power.
Oh yeah, I knew he had power. Look, I know that he's the guy's young. I don't think he ever fought the type of. I don't think he had the experience Matias had. Championship round experience. But every time you're gonna fight for a world title, you're gonna get motivated. And he was hungry to become a world champion. He found a way. He did. He really found a way. And I knew he was strong. I knew he had some good boxing skills. I knew he had power. I mean, you saw what he did with Cepeda with not dropped him with body shots and other guys. Maybe not Matias's level, but what was so surprising too, and maybe people take it as wrong, like the British fans. You know, I was so surprised that the way he stood toe to toe with Matias and he beat Matias at his own game and he knocked him out. Nobody had ever done that to Matias. Not nobody. To me, that was surprising. I mean, again, I'm not against Dalton Smith. I'm out, man. Good for him. He won the world title. That's great. He's
Well,
he earned it. But it was very surprised the way he did it. To me, it was like, wow. If he was gonna win the fight, I thought he would win by decision by boxing him, outboxing him, because he that was the plan of box move and kind of like Liam Paro. He's not Liam Paro, but he started moving around. You saw in the first round he was boxing,
yeah,
throwing the jab, using the whole ring, holding them, and to offset. He had to do something to offset that relentless pressure, that movement, and he got that respect by landing big shots. I'm sure Matias felt the power, but he got overconfident and he really got hurt. He really got hurt, and like I said, Dalton Smith deserves this win. I mean, it was a huge win for him, and to me, it was a big upset. It wasn't just an upset. I thought it was a big upset.
You mentioned Liam Paro. Liam
Yeah,
Paro was clinching against Matias.
right.
Noticed that Smith did the same thing. He was
He
clinching.
did he did the same thing early on, and he did it in the third round when Matias really put more pressure, which you're supposed to do that. It's a tactic, like try to offset his rhythm and his momentum, and then let the referee break your apart, get back out on the outside, use the jab, give him angles, combinations. But like Eddie Hearn said, man, he couldn't even do that because he couldn't do that because Matias is that kind of guy, man. He makes you lose focus. Like it takes a really special guy to beat him, like boxing him like Liam Paro did, or a guy that's gonna knock him out like Smith did. But I didn't expect that. I mean, did you expect that? I didn't expect that. I
Uh,
expected if Smith is Dalton Smith's gonna beat him, he's gonna outbox him. He's gonna move. He's gonna go in and do his work, get back out, hold them, and use the whole ring. I never expected a knockout. Nobody has ever done that to
but
SubrielMatias.
yeah,
And he takes a lot of shots. He gets hit. It's easy to hit him. You don't have to fight him. He's there. But as the rounds go, you hit him early on. I feel like it's easy to catch him early on, but as the rounds go, a lot of and when he's coming forward, carries his hands up most of the time, and a lot of shots he blocks, and then it's like he catches and then he counters off of that. He throws 4, 5, 6 punch combinations. A lot of the short shots were catching Dalton Smith when Dalton was rushing in. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know what other guys were seeing, but did you guys see? Did you see Dalton rush in at times, like with his head down?
yeah,
He was, and Matias was coming up the middle short, and just because he was backing him up, he was backing up at times, Matias, right? But he was still throwing short shots, short up the middle and short hooks. Dalton was swinging wide. Okay, yeah, Dalton was connected too. Maybe he'll throw 4 shots, 5 shots, he'll land like two. But if you watch real closely, some of them Matias blocked, or some of them uh, Smith missed, and if Matias threw like a 5, 6 punch combination, maybe three landed and the other three missed. I mean, you have to watch really closely, man. You have to see that really like, and when your ringside is different, when you're live, it's different.
yeah,
It's not the same like watching on TV. So it, I had it, like I said, I had it 2-2. Like one just had it 3-1 for Matias, the other one had it 3-1 for Smith. I had it like 2-2. I think, in my opinion, which the British don't see it that way, and other clowns don't see it that way. I it was like it was 2-2, and then I felt like Smith was, I mean, SubrielMatias was gaining momentum.
yeah.
Like he was starting to fight the type of fight that he fights. He gets started around the fourth, fifth round. It takes him. I was talking to his trainer before the fight. Yeah, but, he in Spanish, when he's like, yeah, I mean, he'll give up. Because I asked him, why does he give up rounds, man? Why did he? That's just him. He'll give up 2 rounds, and he's like, no, he'll give up 3 or 4 rounds sometimes before he gets going.
So I was just gonna ask you, since you mentioned that, where does Subriel Matias go from here? Like, back to the drawing board. What adjustments should he make? Because he gives up a lot of rounds, like you said. He gives up a lot of rounds. He's
Yeah.
going to get hit. Um, um, there's something wrong there, like boxing's to hit, not get hit, right?
Right, right. Well, he definitely. I mean, he's a fighter that he's a very humble guy, and he's a good fighter. But what could make him a better fighter? His defense, man. He's really got to work on his defense. I mean, because he's got no head movement. He takes everything. especially early on. He needs to start faster, find a way to get that motor going faster. More jabs and you know just be more faster with his legs and his hands. More explosiveness. Um, and if I was them, I would take off some time, get some rest. Take off a couple of months, come back in and come back in kind of soft. You don't want to. I don't think he needs to be matched up with some of the top dogs right now. I think he needs maybe one fight, two fights, one fight for sure. With someone soft, just to get it going. But all this time, be working in the gym on his defense. Uh, Starting faster. You know, he's got a good jab. Use the jab a lot at the beginning. I think if he works on his defense, he's got good power. He's in great shape. He's relentless. He's got, like I said, he's a guy that is. A lot of people say, "Oh, you know what? A guy like him, all you got to do is control the distance, box a little bit, move side to side. You're gonna be okay." Guess what? I mean, numbers don't lie. Before he lost this fight, I mean, out of 23 wins, he knocked out 22 guys. So, and the only guy that really, and he had two losses, one loss to Petros Ananyan, but he
Yeah.
came back and got revenge. He got revenge on that fight. He knocked him out. And so the only guy that really had the blueprint is Liam Paro. So, and it takes a highly skilled guy to beat someone like Matias. Or a guy that has power, explosive power,
I
like Dalton Smith that he showed the other day. Because look, did he force? I don't care what anybody says, man. The plan for him was to box. Him going toe to toe was not his plan. I mean, you're not gonna go toe to toe. You don't go toe to toe with Matias. So, and if you do, you get knocked out. His record says it. All right. So he beat Matias at his own game, and good for him. And Diaz Matias showed some weaknesses there too, because again, his defense, his chin, not it might not even be his chin. I mean, Dalton he's got power. He's strong. He's a strong guy. So
well,
that's what I would do. Matias needs to go back and rest and study a lot of film and he knows. Like, I mean, I talked to some Puerto Rican people there too, and I talked to some of Smith's people too, and a lot of the stuff that we talked about, we agreed on. We agreed on, man.
uh,
They know that he was forced to fight Matias's fight. They know that. He
what
had no
was
choice.
what was the arena like at the end? Did all the Puerto Ricans leave?
Uh no, no, man. It was obviously it wasn't a lot of people, obviously it didn't sell out or nothing like that. But the crowd was very supportive of Matias, and then Dalton Smith had his crowd too, man. He had his crowd too that came to see him fight, and I guess all the British people that live there in New York or around the New York area. It was crazy, man. It was a pretty badass feeling. I really enjoyed calling the whole card was good. It was a good. I mean, we saw the Olympian El Perrito. I forget his name. They call him El Perrito with the Chucky guy. They were back and forth. One round they knocked each other out, and that was like round of the year. And then Nestor Bravo knocked out Campa. That was like maybe knockout of the year. And then you had this one. It was a great fight, man. Back and forth action, toe to toe. Yeah, upset of the year. So it was a great card, man. And the fans were very supportive. Whenever Smith knocked him out, Eddie Hearn and all his team jumping in the ring, the father, the grandpa, I don't know if you saw the whole family, the
Yeah,
4 generations. That I'm a family guy, so
yeah.
I mean I love that. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, man. It was an awesome, um, like almost like a Rocky movie, because Dalton he was bleeding too, man. He was bleeding from his nose, and he had to go to war, and he took care of business going to war. It was a beautiful win, and what a way to win the world title.
Well, I have to say, I take my hat off to Smith because I've always said it. It's not just about skills. It's about having a big heart and having cojones, and people
Yes,
show that. Smith
dude,
showed.
most definitely. I don't call him cojones. I call him balls. I call him huevos. Huevos, man. He look, and there's a lot of fighters that don't have that. You know that, and he
Yeah,
showed it. He showed it. Even like he, I'm telling you, man. I wish that you could find a way to put him on, and he knows that he. I guarantee you, if he's honest, he would say, "Yeah, man, I had no choice.
yeah,
I'd had to go toe to toe because I knew if I kept fighting like that, I mean, like with that kind of rhythm, that pace." He doesn't really I don't think he felt comfortable going into the second half of the fight that kind of pace. So he said, look, I'm gonna go for broke, and I'm gonna go toe to toe, and he knew what he was doing because he did set up the right hand. You could see where he throws a jab, and he throws like a right hand, maybe not too straight, but he throws it, and then he throws another. He created that distance, and at the same time, Matias kind of helped him because Matias was standing straight up with his hands down. If
yeah,
you watch the replay, Matias had his hands down, and Smith created the right distance with the jab. It was about 4 or 5 consecutive, more or less, right hands, or 3 or 4. Like I said, the one before the big one that hurt Matias, and Matias, even at that point, Matias was like, come on, give me some more. And then he threw the big overhand, like right here,
yeah,
in between the ear and the back, and that's what laid him out flat. And Matias got up. You saw how wobbly he was,
yeah.
uh, and another one like that would have really put him out. You know,
So, so
but there was 30 seconds left. Look, there was 30 seconds left. Matias has always shown to take a big shot. He's been hit by other fighters. He's been rocked by other fighters. Okay, and then he comes back. So you know. I think that the referee made the right decision, and
yeah,
congratulations to Dalton Smith.
yeah. I was just gonna ask you about that stoppage because I keep hearing some fans say that it was premature stoppage.
Nah, nah. I think maybe some of those fans are diehard Mattia fans, which I understand. Like you got the diehard Dalton Smith fans. You gotta look out for the fighter too, man. I don't think his corner had any problem that they stopped the fight because you didn't see no argument there or complaining. I mean, I think it was the right decision was made.
Uh, does Matias come back stronger or is Matias finished? Because I hear some fans saying Matias is finished.
We don't know, man. We don't know. We can't say. I mean, you don't know how he's gonna come back. I mean, give the guy a break. Like he's. I know he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back. I don't know if he'll come back stronger, or I don't think he's gonna come back weaker, or he's done. I don't think he's done. I don't think he's done. I mean, I think he could fight for the world title again. 1 or 2 fights. I mean, he's got a name. Look, anybody he fights, the fights are going to be exciting because he's got that exciting style. He creates those kind of fights. So he's going to get a shot at somebody. Can he win the world title again? I don't know. I don't. We'll see. Like, what's going to be done between now and that next fight, and then when he does fight for the world title, is he going to be like I said, is he going to try to adjust and get better with his defense, and go back and look at a bunch of film, and figure out what things can he do to better himself, even in just in training camp. Um uh, I don't know, I don't know why he starts like it takes him like 3 rounds to get going. Maybe 1 round I understand, a round and a half, but 3, 4 rounds sometimes.
But another issue I noticed with Matias is he doesn't use his jab enough.
And he's got a good jab. He's got a long jab. He's strong, he's busy, he's got the heart, he's got great condition, he's got good power. Uh he's like the energizing bunny. I mean, he gets better as the rounds go. As the rounds go, he gets better. He really does. He gets better, stronger. I mean, like his like in the second half of the fight, he gets better, and His pressure is not, in my opinion, and I've seen him like a couple of times fighting, like when he fought Goyas, man, like when he fought Goyas in Puerto Rico, I was like, stop the fight. Like I see Goyas's expression, like the way he was getting hit, and you could hear the thudding of Matias's shots. It's ugly, man. Like that makes me think. Like I'm always like, man, what was I doing? Thinking like I was a boxer. Why was I doing that? Because it's pretty brutal, man. And like, I was like, man, hoping the referee would stop the fight 1 or 2 rounds before, or the corner. And finally he got stopped. But yeah, man, like Goyas got beat down, dude. The way he beats down his opponents. I mean, you saw what he did to the Russian fighter that passed away, or I can't remember his name, but
Yeah,
he's dangerous, and he's when he gets that rhythm going, and he's very dangerous as the fight goes on, in the second half of the fight.
yeah. So I think with what you just said, I think Smith did what he had to do. He did the right thing by going through fire. He had no choice. He
He
had to.
rolled the dice. I really believe he rolled the dice. I really, I'm telling you, I guarantee you, me being a fighter and talking to other fighters, and I guarantee you, he said to himself, "You know what? I got to stand toe to toe with this guy because I can't box him. Like I move and he's there, and he's not even at the beginning. At the beginning, as Matias wasn't throwing a lot of punches at the first, second round. He wasn't throwing a lot of punches. The first round, he Smith would move, but Matias was there, like, but not throwing punches. He was getting hit, but not throwing punches. But he would cut the distance like quick, like faster than anybody else. Like just real cut it quick. He would cut that distance quick. By third round, Smith said, I'm just gonna go for, he rolled the dice. I'm gonna go toe to toe with him. I can't." And he was like, "This is barely the third round," and he knows what he felt. I can't. He was thinking, man, imagine how it's gonna be the sixth, seventh, eighth round at this pace. This guy's, I mean, I'm sure he felt his power too.
What does
So
you being a fighter? What does that do to you? Like when you got an opponent like Matias that keeps coming forward, putting that pressure.
mentally, man, it's a lot of mental conditioning. When you're thinking, when your mind, that's gonna get you tired. That's conditioning too. When a guy puts pressure like that, I was a pressure fighter, but I didn't put pressure like that. Like I was telling somebody else on some other interview, Julio Cesar Chavez, the father, he put that pressure, but not like Matias, not that kind of pace. Nah, it took him. It was a little bit more of a plotter, slower. I just think Matias is more faster when he puts that. He's relentless, constant, constant, constant. Boom, boom, boom. Five, four, five, six, seven punch combinations. And when a guy puts pressure like that, uh, mentally, just not only physically but mentally, it drains you. And you could. That's when fighters lose focus, and they start squaring up. Dalton squared up. When he was throwing those haymakers, he was squaring up at times.
Yeah,
But he is strong and he's had power, and he created the right distance and he landed some big shots that Matias took. But the last ones, Matias was, I mean, he was wide open, had his hands down, and he got caught. But when a guy puts pressure on you like that, man, you lose focus. It's gonna drain you. You're gonna get tired. You're gonna lose it. If you're not ready for that, or you don't like the only guy that was able to deal with that kind of pressure because he had uh, answers for it, and or knew how to stop that pressure in different ways. He had, plan A, plan B, plan C. Like he would either hold them or lean on him, or answer back with a hard 1-2, or move around to keep turning him in circles, then hold them, then get in, do his work, and get back out without getting hit, then turn. Was the guy like Liam Paro.
yeah,
He really, I mean, he lost focus at times, but obviously the majority of the time he stayed focused. But a guy like Matias, he'll make you lose. You lose it with him, and once you lose it, it's all downhill, man. And and I think Smith, he was smart enough to say, you know what, I'm just gonna go toe to toe with him, and I'm gonna try to land those big bombs. And he set him up good, man. It just happened that way. It happened so fast again. I know I'm being repetitive, but you know how boxing, it just things happen so quick, and he got it. And it was crazy the way everybody jumped in the ring, man. I was stunned. Corey was like, wow, Corey Erdman, it was a great call, and I was like, unbelievable. I couldn't believe it because I didn't expect that, and nobody had ever done that to Matias. If Dalton was going to beat him, like I said, he'll beat him by decision, but I didn't expect a knockout. If
Well,
anybody, I expected Matias maybe to stop him late, you know,
yeah.
or or Dalton by decision. I didn't, even though he's got power, but I didn't. But Matias takes a good shot. Nobody has ever done that to him.
Well, I don't know
Hell
if
of a fight.
I don't know. I don't know if you remember the weigh-in, but at the weigh-in, I saw something. I saw something that I started thinking maybe Smith has a chance. Now, I don't know if you remember when they were at the weigh-in and
Okay.
it's Smith and his father were talking to Matias and they were going back and forth. I didn't hear everything, but it seemed like Matias was trying to intimidate, trying to psych them out, and they weren't budging. They weren't budging.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but you know what? I don't. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think it had anything to do with it. I just think that Dalton Smith, he was there for the moment. It was a big moment for him, and he wanted to win. It's something that he's been waiting for all his life. He wanted to win a world title. He wanted to be a champion, and he came there with that attitude, and he found the way. He was going to win the title no matter what, even boxing him or going toe to toe, and that's the way it happened. And he, the he wanted it, man. He wanted it. He wasn't gonna leave the United States without the WBC belt. That was his attitude. He put in time. He had a great camp. He was very confident. He was very confident for sure. He was confident. I noticed how confident he was. I saw, and that's what you need in a fighter. And people say, well, look, he hadn't fought nobody like Matias, nowhere near the level of Matias. I said it because it's true. He had never fought nobody,
Yeah,
but it takes the right dance partner to, bring it out of you. And it happened to be Matias, and that brought it. He brought it out, and it's almost like, he was not like a hidden champion, but a guy that just needed to come out, and he did. He blossomed. It was beautiful, man, and he deserves it. And now he's one of the champions in a division that there's a lot of tough guys. There's a lot of stars, with Teofimo and Shakur fighting here pretty soon at the end of the month. You got Richards and Hitchens. You got Roach. You still got Roach there. You got even Pitbull Cruz. You got there's a lot of fights. There's a lot of fights that could be made, action fights. I think Matias will still be in the mix after one fight because, like I said, he's an exciting fighter. He'll make for exciting fights with any of those guys. And I think his mandatory might be Puello. I think Puello, who just lost to Matias
in a close fight though.
in a close fight. Where a lot of people thought maybe Puello won because they think Puello outboxed him.
Yeah,
That's gonna be interesting. Look, that fight is gonna be interesting. Puello and Dalton Smith. If that happens, that's gonna be an interesting fight
yeah. I'm looking
because
forward to that if it
that's
happens.
a total different style from Dalton Smith going from Matias to Puello. That's 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 like night and day.
Yeah, that should be an interesting fight. I hope it happens.
Yeah, yeah. And then from my well, from what Eddie Hearn was saying, I think he probably wants to fight in Sheffield. And he's a champion now. And probably fill up one of the stadiums over there. maybe find him one of those British fighters over there too. Like I think they were talking about Azim or something like the guy that fought Scooby.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kurt Scooby or whatever. Kurt, is that his name? Yeah. Um, just get him a fight over there in Sheffield, and then maybe bring him back to the States. Um, whatever plans it is, I mean, it's going to be exciting for Dalton Smith because he's a champion now, so he could call shots.
All right, before I let you go, I gotta ask you quickly. You know, with Teofimo versus Shakur, because the way Smith beat Matias is something that I would like to see from Shakur. If Shakur were to beat Teofimo, I want to see him do it in that style. Can he do
Well, uh, Shakur's last fight against what's his name? The Mexican guy that brought it to him. And Shakur, he went toe to toe with him. Cepeda, right? Or no? Or what's his name? No, not Cepeda. Remind me of the guy that Shakur fought the last time. He's Mexican dude from Mexico, obviously. His last fight, when he went toe to toe with him.
Yeah, I
El
can.
Camarón, El Camarón, El Camarón Cepeda, right?
El Camarón.
Yeah, El Camarón Cepeda, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He surprised everybody. Shakur surprised everybody because he did more coming forward. He did more toe to toe than what he usually does. Like Shakur's very technical. He's gonna use the whole ring. He's gonna hold. He's gonna get back on the outside with the jab. But with that fight, with El Camarón Cepeda, he traded with him. He traded with him, and he looked good. And I think he won a lot of fans when he did that. I even told him that because he's down here in Houston sometimes too. In the past, at Prince Jim, when my son spars with him and stuff. So, um, I think. I mean, I want to say when him and Teofimo fight, I want to pick Shakur because of his boxing IQ, and I just think he's a really smart fighter. I know he doesn't really like to get hit, but who likes to get hit? But I know as soon as you hit him, he will. He likes. He was gonna hold you. But that's the tactic, obviously. I mean, that's how he wins. But he's very elusive. He's fast. He's a good boxer, man. He's a high boxing IQ. He's thinking all the time. He's got a good jab, and he knows how to use the whole ring. But then again, Dale could fight too, man. He could fight. When he's on, he is on. He could attack. He's very accurate with his shots. He hits you from different angles. Uh, and he could box too. He could come forward and attack you at angles and land big shots from different angles. And he's got a good chin. He's got big heart. He's got big huevos too, man. He's really got big huevos. He comes to fight. He'll fight. Whether he's gonna box you or take it to you. He figures it out, and he could fight too, man. I don't. It's
50-50?
you know what, man? Yeah, 50-50, or if you want to give Shakur 55, 45, it's a very evenly matched fight, and it's just about what it is with that fight. Honestly, man, it's however however they wake up that day and how they feel in the ring, man. They're both great fighters, and sometimes you have off days. Sometimes you have days that you don't feel that good or you feel great, and it's however they feel that day, man. Because they're both very smart fighters. They're technical. They both got respectable power. I think Dale has more power, but Shakur's got more speed, and I think he might be more elusive. But then again, when I say that, Dale's elusive too. He's a bad. I mean, the way he moves,
I
his
can.
moves are his moves are crazy, man. His moves are crazy, bro. So it's who has a better day that day. Like who's gonna fight their fight and rise up to it, and that's who's gonna win. It's hard to pick. It's hard to pick.
Well, I guess we gotta wait and see which Teofimo shows up.
Yeah. Hey, he's been talking a lot of no. He's been trying to get under his skin. You know all the stuff he's been saying. It seems like Teo seems pretty relaxed, and it looks like it gets a little bit to Shakur. You know, I feel like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Uh, but I mean, Shakur's he's a strong minded guy. I mean, he at the amateur background, the resume, silver medal. I mean, and Teo had a good amateur background too. It's a good fight. It's good for the fans. It's good for TV. Hopefully they'll give us some action too, because when you have two fighters that are high level like that, boxing IQ, and they're like kind of like waiting, and it could be a chess match for 4 or 5 rounds. A lot of you know, looking and picking and jab and a lot of cat stuff, boom, boom, moving back and forth. It could be like that at the beginning.
What what
And
what do you say? What do you say with Shakur making these statements that by saying that he's gonna stop Teofimo, that Teofimo better not run? Well, what do you say? Is he gonna actually go in there and try to knock out Lopez, or is he just talking?
uh, maybe he's trying to get in his head by making Tail come at him, and then him do what he does best, counterpunch. Because when you come at him just like crazy, like no head movement, like Cepeda did, Shakur, that's like medicine to him, that's his vitamins right there. He'll eat you up, pa 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 pa, angles, hold you, get back on the outside with the jab. Maybe he's trying to get in Theo's head to make Theo like bum rush him early, because I think Shakur fights better when guys attack him. You know, that's when he's at his best. When he'll box you give him a boxing lesson, move in circles, in and out, use the whole ring. And when you have a guy that's gonna move on Shakur and also come forward and mix it up and give him some of his own medicine that he does, I think it's a more difficult fight for him. So I just think he's trying to, by him saying that to about Lopez, saying that he's gonna, I hope he comes and fights and he's gonna stand his ground and all that. I think he's just trying to get in his ear to force Lopez to fight that kind of fight. That's what I feel.
Well, we'll see on the 31st.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. It's gonna be a good fight. I just hope they it lives up to that moment, to the expectations, and because they're two highly skilled, I mean, high level fighters. They don't waste that many punches, and like I said, it could be a lot of looking at each other at the beginning and trying to do feints, trying to get you to throw, and trying to get you to come lunge and move forward, that kind of stuff. But even when you're doing that, it's like a chess match. Like I said, the mind that wears you down. That you're getting tired. Then it gets to the fourth bit, and then somebody's gonna take over one way or another. A lot of thinking in there. A lot of thinking. Uh, a lot of game planning. What, like, you just can't have one plan. You gotta have two or three plans. Attacking different, especially for Teo. Teofimo's gotta attack. I feel if anybody's gotta make the fight, I think it's gotta be Teo. I feel like he's got to make the fight because Shakur ain't gonna. I don't see Shakur coming at him. I see Shakur establishing a good jab, putting that jab out there, kind of getting him feints. Shakur wants Tail to come forward.
Yeah.
I don't see Shakur coming forward unless he's already dominating the fight and it's in the second half of the fight and he's winning. So maybe I see him coming forward here and there, kind of testing the water, see how that goes, and if it's going well, then he'll bring it more, and then I mean, doing what Shakur does. We know how he fights.
Well,
It's gonna be a good one.
I don't see Shakur winning by knockout. I see him winning by decision. But then again, we thought the same. I thought the same might have happened with Smith and Matias, and look what happened.
Different, yeah, but different styles make fights. I mean, Smith is not. Shakur's he's got exceptional boxing skills are up here, man. And I'm not saying for the British fans, Dalton's got skills too, but not like Shakur. And Dalton's got power, and Shakur doesn't have power like that. And Dalton is really, I think he's strong, and I don't think Shakur has that kind of strength. But his boxing skills and he's very smart. He's very when he's thinking in there all the time, and he's a student of the game, man. He's I see the way he works in the gym, man. He's in the gym all day, every day, and I see how he spars all the time with he helps out his cousins and his team. He's always sparring and trying to get better and teach them and him learn at the same time more and just get better. He loves it. That's his that's his life, boxing. You could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sparred Gio, right?
Yeah, he's hired Gio for sparring a couple of camps in Vegas, and then he sparred him here in Houston, and just being in camp with Ray Ford too. Gio sparred him before, but in Shakur, we're friends. We all get along. Good people, man.
Keep me posted with Gio's next fight.
Yeah, Gio's gonna fight February 21st. We don't have an opponent yet. It'll be his first fight back since he lost. We took that loss with the Dominican dude Wesley Ferrar, a fight that we didn't think we lost. It was, it's boxing. We lost a split decision. We thought we won. A lot of people thought we won, but it's boxing. It happens, and Gio's working hard. We're not discouraged. Just got to keep learning. One loss is not gonna. It's not like he got his butt whooped. You know what I mean? And or got knocked out. So it's a learning experience, and you learn from that, and that hopefully get better.
Yeah, one loss doesn't define your career. We know that.
Exactly. Exactly. So he's excited. We're gonna be fighting here in Houston, and yeah, it was fun for me to be covering that fight the other night, man. It was a great experience. The card was great, and I look forward to doing more boxing events. Hopefully this year, a lot more than what I did last year. And it's been kind of slow for me after Showtime finished in 2000. What was it? 23? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I was still doing stuff last year with I did some ESPN Plus shows, and I did the Zone with Dimitri Salita Promotions, Big Time Boxing USA, which is a great platform too. But it was a good way to start off the year, man, with this card. It's getting a lot of attention. I'm getting back on podcasts or whatever they want to interview me about the fight. The British fans, they love me. Hopefully they'll get. I gotta get them to love me, man. I don't know why they. Man, I don't know. I wasn't. They take things too personal, man. It wasn't like that. I gave Smith the credit, man. Every time he was landing right hands, and when the knockout happened, it just happened so quick. But before, like I said, before that, Matias was landing some good shots, and then boom, all of a sudden it turned around. That's the way it happens.
Hey, wait! Right before I forget, I saw a video on social media that a fight broke out at ringside, somewhere in the crowd.
Oh, you know what? I heard about it, but I wasn't even paying attention. I didn't know about that, but I heard it was some Puerto Rican fans with some British fans. Yeah, I, I, I wasn't. I was calling the fight. The fight was so exciting, but I wasn't even aware that I think the driver when he was taking me to the airport was talking about it. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even know. But it was, man, it was the atmosphere. Like I said, even though it wasn't a lot of people there. But it was just it was loud, man. It was loud whenever uh Matias went down and he didn't get back up, and Dalton Smith won the world title. It was crazy, dude. It had that feeling of a big championship fight like that I've done in the past.
Ricky
Like,
Hatton days, like back in Ricky Hatton days.
yeah, that kind of, yeah. It really did, man. It really did. It got loud in there. It got really loud. And it was beautiful, man. Again, with the whole family, his family and all that, his dad, his grandpa, and his everybody that was there, the four generations that were there. It was his coach Eddie Hearn was happy too. So it was good. It was good, man. And for Subriel, he's a very humble guy, man. He took his loss like a champ. He knows he lost, and hopefully he'll be back. Hopefully he'll be back.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see what happens next with Matias. But like you mentioned, Smith versus Puello looks like it's going to happen next.
Yeah, I look forward to that. That's two. You know, Puello's a different style. He's a boxer. He's a mover. He's a born fighter, man. He put you to sleep. Because he's such a born fighter. So I'm can't wait to see that one. See how that goes.
Yeah, same here. But
Yep.
great way to start off the year.
Oh yeah.
And let's see what happens with Teofimo and Shakur.
All right, man. I'm excited, man. Is it like I said? It's barely January. We already got like I'm telling you, this card had some really good fights in there. We had like the round of the year, the uh upset of the year, knockout of the year with Bravo the way he knocked out Campa. It was nasty, and that's what we want to see. That's what I mean. This is good for the fans and me as a broadcaster. I
Yeah,
want to cover fights like that. I mean, they're exciting fights and they're evenly matched fights too, man. We want to see fights like that.
definitely.
Yep.
That's what the fans want to. That's what they pay for, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Marquez, thanks again for coming on, and we'll be talking.
Anytime.
Yeah,
Anytime. Make sure you guys keep up with El Diamante, Raul Marquez. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. I'm a nice guy. I call it like it is. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of boxing, but I'm also an analyst. Okay. When I gotta call fights, I'm an analyst. I call it like it is. I'm not a fanboy. I can't be a fanboy. I'm not gonna that's just not my style. Hey, look. The Crawford fight. I don't know if you saw the breakdown that I had of the Crawford fight. I told all the Mexicans that Crawford was gonna win, even when I was calling it for Netflix. All the guys that were there, they're Mexican, but hey, look, I thought Crawford was gonna win, and I told them why, and it happened.
yeah.
There you go.
Now that you said that, one thing I learned a long time ago is don't bet with your heart.
Exactly. That's the problem. That's what's going on right now with the British fans. Their heart. It's like they're blinded. They don't. I mean, Smith was getting hit too with short uppercuts and short hooks, and he was wide, and he did land haymakers. Okay, and he landed big haymakers that he won the world title, man. Be nice, guys.